Okay, I might have to start over, but a lot of people asked why I don't agree with feminism and why I'm not a part of it. And so I'm going to explain that I think there are three fundamental errors in modern day feminism in America. I think it is important in other countries. Here's why I don't like feminism in America. Number one, the idea that abortion is a right. It's not, it's murder. Number two, the idea of toxic masculinity. All it does is bring men down. What we need is stronger men, present fathers in the home. Number three, that promiscuity is women empowerment. It's not. It is not helpful to a woman mentally or physically. Also, with feminists that I've noticed a lot, and you can see on my page, is they will call you a pick-me girl as soon as you have a different opinion. So they're assuming that all women must think the same way, and as soon as you don't, it must be for male validation. Sounds pretty sexist to me, and I don't want to be a part of a group like that. But thank y'all for asking, and I really appreciate it.
Hi, welcome to the government. How may I help you? Hi, I'm here to register for the draft. Yeah, definitely. Just one sec. Wait, women have to do that now? I think so. I saw a couple of TikToks about it. Ew, why? I don't know, equality or some shit? Rip in peace, I guess I'll have to do that after my shift. What's her name? Wait, oh my god, what if I give you a fake name so they don't actually have to pick me? Pretty sure that's illegal, but I'm gonna give you a fake name anyway because women supporting women. Oh my god, Queen, thank you so much. Oh my god, Queen, anytime. How does the draft even work? Do they just like draw names out of a hat? I think so. I've also heard of them doing eeny meeny miny mo. Oh, fascinating. I have all your fake information in here. You're ready to go. I'll see you in World War III.
I say this with my chest. There are far more women struggling to find love in relationships than men. Yes, I agree, bad men exist, but these men are created, not born. And I'll tell you what's causing this: toxic feminism. What feminism does is simultaneously teach women to detest masculine traits in men, but cultivate them in themselves. So for instance, a man that cheats is trash, but a woman who cheats is a bad bitch. Or a man that sexualizes women is misogynistic, but a woman should sell her nudes online and she's a bad bitch. But the biggest problem with feminism is that it makes women reject their feminine traits. So they no longer want to be loyal or nurturing. As a result, we're breeding a generation of men who no longer aspire to provide, protect, and most importantly, respect women because they can access them and replace them. So yes, men are struggling to find love, but it might be because this generation of women is not what they want.
And this is what happens when women suddenly start regretting feminism and start wishing for the return of the patriarchy, right? Because now a lot of these women, especially these older women, are starting to realize that it wasn't all it was cracked up to be, was it, ladies? Right? You thought that you were gonna get out there and make your own money and buy big houses and have fancy cars, and many of them did. By the way, many of these ladies ended up making some pretty good money, but now they are realizing how unfulfilling that actually is. It's like, yeah, great, you have your own money, but what are you going to do with that, right? You still don't have somebody to cuddle with. You still don't have somebody to come home to. You still don't have a husband, and the chances of you getting some sucker to marry you are slim to none if you are over the age of 30, if you're past your prime, which many of these feminists are, which is now why many of them are starting to rebel against the sisterhood, right? They're starting to talk bad about it. It's starting to get backlash, right? And many of these chicks are starting to get annoyed when they see these annual hashtags on International Women's Day or women supporting women or whatever else. They start to get annoyed with that because they're like, that is a bunch of bull if I've ever seen it, right? It's a bunch of horse manure if I've ever seen it. However, it's a great thing, right? It's a great thing when you see women starting to want the patriarchy to return, that patriarchy that they demonized for so many years, that patriarchy that they were taught to hate, even though it built everything around them and it created every modern comfort that they are enjoying to this very day. It always kind of like astounds me when I see a feminist talk about how much she hates the patriarchy and just wants to destroy it. We need to banish it. You know, she complains about the patriarchy while she is communicating from her patriarchal iPhone, using the patriarchal internet in her patriarchal office wearing her patriarchal clothes and shoes. I mean, all of that was man-made, honey. There are very, very few inventions that women made, right? I've covered that too before. Like male inventions versus female inventions, there's no comparison, right? There is no comparison. Men have created essentially practically like 99.9% of the things that you enjoy in and see in the world, right? Agriculture, farming, construction, air conditioning, heating, plumbing, electricity, you name it, all man-made. And I've always said, like, if there was some like asteroid that came down and slammed into the earth and we had to go back to living in caves, I guarantee you there would no longer be feminists, right? Everybody would revert back to their natural God-given roles, where women would go back to gathering fruits and whatever else they could that were safe and nurturing, whereas men would go out and do the hunting. You would have to pick up your spear, and we'd have to just go out there and hunt down a woolly mammoth or a rhinoceros so that we could feed our families, so that we could eat. You think any of these women are going to be able to pick up a spear and go out there and hunt some woolly mammoth that wants to kill them? Some pterodactyl? No, right? Because they would get killed. They would get eaten. They just don't have the strength for that. They don't. I mean, otherwise that would have happened, right? Because you'll probably have some dumb feminists in the comments like, no, who's to say? We could have done that. Well, then why didn't you? Why didn't you, right? When we're living in caves, you had plenty of opportunity to do that. Why didn't you? Right? Why are there no cave drawings of any women like going to hunt? No, they were at home, taking care of the kids, being safe. Right? They didn't even want that job. It was too dangerous for them. It was very dangerous. Right? So if that were to happen, I'll tell you, these chicks would revert right back to their natural evolutionary roles as women. The ones that they say are social constructs. Yeah, social construct. Why don't you go tell the cavemen that? Why don't you go back, to the Stone Age and tell that to the Neanderthals? Social construct my ass. They would kick you out of the cave and be like, okay, go hunt your own food, if you think it's such a social construct. And you know what would happen to you? You would either starve or probably most likely get eaten by an animal. Okay, because that's what would happen back in the days. However, now that we have all these modern conveniences and all this luxury around us and all this protection around us, thanks to men, thanks to the patriarchy, they have it so good that now they could just sit there and sip their Starbucks latte and go to Whole Foods and complain about men. Complain about the patriarchy, complain about men oppressing us and women's rights, and we haven't had the right to, we finally got the right to vote. It's great. Yeah, you've had the right to vote for 100 freaking years. What have you done with that? Right? What have you done with that? It's very scary to see what women have done with the right to vote, by the way. You could see just the amount of the increase in government programs, welfare, the useless spending of our tax dollars towards all of this like nonsense. I mean, the government has grown completely out of control in the last 100 years, ever since, ironically, when women were given the right to vote, right? I mean, other people have covered this, right? But essentially, women will always vote for anything that benefits them and only things that benefit them. Right? They're not going to vote for the good of humanity, the good of the tribe, the good of community. No, they're going to vote for what benefits them and only them. Right? And you can see this yourself if you ever want to do your basic research on this. You might not be able to trust Google anymore either, because I noticed they're suppressing a lot of results when it comes to them pushing their narrative. So you might have to go to another search engine, try DuckDuckGo. You'll probably find some stuff on DuckDuckGo. I have to use that a lot now these days, especially when I research videos that I need to cover. I can't trust Google anymore, right? Because they're more about pushing a narrative and an ideology than they are about the truth. Right? So I have to go to another website. I have to go to another search engine. But do your research. It's pretty scary, like what women have done with the right to vote. Very scary, right? And people have often said if women were never, if women were to stop voting today, right? I believe Ann Coulter said that. And this is statistically true. If women were to stop voting today, you would never see another Democrat president ever again. And not only that, but the size of government would shrink dramatically, and many of your freedoms would return. Right? A lot of your freedoms would come right back. A lot of these BS regulations that we have on like building houses and whatnot would go away, and we'd be able to build more housing for people. The cost of real estate would come down dramatically. Your taxes would come down dramatically. I mean, life would be a dream, wouldn't it? Life would be a breeze if they just stopped voting. But no, they're going to keep voting for things that infringe more on your freedoms, and things that clamp down on you, especially if you're a man, and things that give them more entitlements, more money, more of your tax dollars. Because still to this day, even with more women graduating college, men still cover over, I believe it's over 75% of the taxes. We pay for that. So all these programs and all these entitlements that they're getting, who's paying for that? We are. They know that, right? So maybe when we get to a time where women are paying the majority of the taxes, they'll probably want to slow it down. Like, hey, men keep benefiting from this, right? Because now more and more women are paying child support to ex-husbands. They're paying more alimony to ex-husbands and ex-partners. So, and they don't like that. They don't like that. So they're starting to get upset about it. So maybe they'll start to feel the pain like men have for the many centuries, and they will want to reverse it. But as for now, I'm happy to report that I am starting to see more and more of these females wake up and they're starting to call out other women, right? And I love seeing that. I love when I see a woman call out another woman, especially a feminist woman, for their hypocrisy, their blatant hypocrisy. And because that takes balls, because these women really are wired to just go along to get along and be followers. They're not really leaders, right? That's just the truth, right? They're just not. I mean, evolutionarily, they're just not leaders, right? They're followers. So they just follow each other. That's why so many of these women are just complete NPCs when you talk to them about like, why do you still, what rights do you have that men don't, what rights are you still missing that men have? And they can't answer these basic questions. They're like, I don't know. Let me see. I have to turn back on CNN and get that talking point. They're like NPCs. They can't think for themselves. So when I see a woman who can think for herself, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. Right? And those girls who can think for themselves, these NPC feminists out there, what do they call them? Pick-me girls. Oh, you're just a pick-me girl. It's like, no, you're the one who's the pick-me, right? You're the one who's a pick-me. You're just basically a simp for the government. You simp to the government, and the government is totally pimping you out like the whore that you are for your money and your tax dollars. But that's another story. So drop your comments below, guys. Let me know what you think of tonight's coaching video. Anything you'd like to add. How do you feel about more and more women out there regretting feminism and turning back to the patriarchy? Do you think it's a wonderful thing like I do? Drop your comments below. I always love to see you guys in my comments, and I always love to read them. So drop those comments below. As always, this is M from the 33 Secrets, signing out here. Don't forget to smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and smash that notification bell as well so that you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on the YouTube. More importantly, guys, please make sure that if you love my work, if you love what I'm teaching here, it's adding value to your life, if you want to help me out, jump into 7 months of mastery. You're going to get a ton of value out of it. This is my personal program where I teach you how to go out there and approach and close the youngest, hottest, and most beautiful looking women in the world. I'm talking about 8s, 9s, and 10s. I'm not talking about single moms, divorced single moms, damaged women over 30, women with 5 therapists. No, I'm talking about the cream of the crop, just young, attractive, beautiful, and very classic and traditional women who are not like modern women. I teach you where to find these girls, how to cold approach them, and how to bring them into your life. I have many successful students around the world now, many of which have gotten married and had children and had families. It's crazy, with women that are, that are beyond, let's say, a bit out of their league, to put it nicely, right? They were able to get women who were more attractive than they would normally have gotten if they hadn't been in mastery, and women that they probably would not have found if they had never gone through my mastery program and learned my teachings, right? So I teach you this stuff, and I teach you from a red pill perspective. I'm a professional pickup artist. I've been out there for the last 3 decades now. I've been coaching men since the 90s, so I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. I know how to find these girls. I still go out to this very day, and so I'm still fresh in the game, and you're going to learn a ton and get a ton out of value out of my 7 Months of Mastery program, right? And it's really easy to sign up. Well, right now it's only $1 for the entire first month of coaching lessons, so take advantage of it. All you need to do is click the link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now.